Ibaka trying to stay with Durant, knocks it away, and Durant slipping. Durant goes down holding his leg. Ibaka goes up and is fouled down the other end. And Durant grabbing that right leg. It's the right calf that put him out. His teammates going over to check on him. But to cheer for a player who gets injured. And credit Serge Ibaka. There's the play right away. He knew it.
We are not going to cheer when this guy goes down. That's appreciation for greatness.
Running the floor and a foul. And Thompson grabs his left knee. Now writhing in pain. Steph Curry slamming the ball on the court, so upset. Green went up to block it. Some of the players saying something. Danny Green saying, I'm just trying to block the play.
No, that wasn't a dirty play by Danny Green.
And everybody for the Warriors in the franchise scenario in the stands holding their breath. Klay Thompson obviously in some pain. He grabbed that left knee right away.
First things first. My God. These boys, I mean, Duke, whoa! Let me tell you something right now. Zion Williamson is special. Now, I had to check Mr. Jalen Rose just a few minutes ago when we won't get up.
Leave me out of this.
No, I'm leaving you out of this. This man had the audacity to unmitigated goal to go on national television and said Zion Williamson would not have been a starting five member of the Fab Five. Excuse me, I love Jimmy King and Ray Jackson, but Zion Williams wouldn't have started.
It has to be a Super Six.
Just stop it, all right? That's number one.
He thinks they
All
can't
right?
shoot.
So I got to get that off my chest, all right? My God, it was something special to behold. This kid, here's another thought that came to my mind, Max Kellerman. This was supposed to be the top 2 recruiting classes. Well, I've never seen such a drop-off between class 1 and class 2. Well, he's phenomenal. He's a man amongst boys. I think that's the phrase to use. You could see Syracuse. He's one of the rare talents that we've seen in college basketball that literally has instilled fear in his opponents. If you look at when he gets the ball down low, you're starting to see guys that just move out the way. His power is very, very evident. And even though it wasn't to that degree for who I'm about to mention, you know, we've seen a lot of great talent. Melo as a freshman was sensational, obviously. But I think about Chris Webber and what he was with you as a freshman, the Fab Five. Chris Webber, when he came onto the scene as a freshman on college basketball, he had that kind of presence. Not power, but that kind of presence.
I mean, come on. How much better do you want him to do? You want him to shoot it much better? Okay, forget about his first year, coming out after his sophomore season, right? He shot 50% from the field, which is an improvement over his freshman season. He shot 36% from 3, which is an improvement over his freshman season, where he shot just under 31%. He shot 81% from the line. So it's not quite 50, 40, 90, but it's trending in that direction. And he was a sophomore in college, trending in that direction. How about 10 assists a game? Up from whatever was 5 or 6. How about 2 steals and just about a block a game? He's 6'3", listed as at 6'3". How about his court vision? How about the fact that he's got explosive athletic ability combined with patience, like a great running back who can hit the hole, but also wait for it to open and elevate the play of his teammates and seems to be calm under pressure. Look, he is not a great defender. Maybe he'll never be a really good defender. You know who else is not a really good defender? Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, Kyrie Irving, etc., etc., etc. And that's the kind of player you have to start looking at when you talk about Ja Morant. I think his floor is Jamal Crawford or something like that. If you're telling me here's a prospect and the floor is an explosive sixth man who you squint and it looks like the primary scorer on a championship caliber team when you're squinting, but then there's certain flaws here and there, it's not quite that, I'm saying that's can't miss.
With the first pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the New Orleans Pelicans select Zion Williamson from Duke University.
The emotions evident for Zion as he becomes the third #1 overall pick from Duke. That ties Kentucky for the most in the Common Draft era, the Blue Devils previous.
How would you describe being the #1 overall pick in this draft?
I mean, I don't know what to say. I didn't think I'd be in this position. My mom sacrificed a lot for me. I wouldn't be here without my mom. She did everything for me. I just want to thank her.
With the second pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select Ja Morant from Murray State University.
Draft, Chauncey. He's got creativity, delivery with either hand. He's an ambidextrous passer, averaged 10 assists per game. That led the nation. He's also really creative. He doesn't just see angles, he creates angles.
All right, Ja, from being the guy that was forgotten and then discovered in an auxiliary gym to the #2 overall pick in the draft, how does it feel?
It feels good to be able to accomplish my dream. How I got here is just crazy. I know it probably give a lot of people more confidence, and I'm just very excited.
The Pelicans have agreed to finally trade Anthony Davis to the Lakers.
Now Davis and LeBron James partner up in the West. Suddenly, the Lakers are a legitimate contender. They were able to keep Kyle Kuzma, and you know, this is everything LA had to do this summer. They had to get Anthony Davis. They weren't at the top of any big free agents list, but this certainly changes the dynamic of that Laker organization, changes the narrative. They've got Anthony Davis, who has said all along he plans to sign a long-term extension with the Lakers next summer when he can become a free agent.
Well, I think the expectation is for him to deliver a championship. One of the things that I repeatedly have reminded people of is that, you know, with the exception of Elgin Baylor, in 1972, I believe, I think he retired just a few games into that season that they had actually won a championship. With the exception of the great Elgin Baylor, every single marquee name that has ever worn the purple and gold Lakers has delivered a championship. Back from the days of George Mikan to Will Chamberlain and Jerry West to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, James Worthy, to Shaq and Kobe, to Kobe himself without Shaq, every single marquee who has ever worn the purple and gold has delivered a championship. And one of the things that I've repeatedly stated that annoyed the hell out of LeBron James camp, but it was absolutely true, yes, these weren't basketball people, these were Hollywood people, but they had a real issue with a lot of the stuff that LeBron was doing off the court in terms of, you know, his ventures and what have you, because their mentality was, we want to make sure we don't have any problems with him being successful in Hollywood. But you're a Laker, baby. The first order of business is the chip. That was their mentality. And right or wrong, that's how judgmental they were.
Kevin Durant is in fact headed to Brooklyn to join Kyrie Irving and DeAndre Jordan.
I think Kevin Durant has wanted to play with Kyrie Irving and DeAndre Jordan
for a long time.
This has been something that's been a train going down the track for a while, and a huge move for the Nets to not only lock down Kyrie, but to get the both of them so that even in this next year they can be very competitive while Kevin recovers.
Will a healthy duo be the favorites in the East next season?
I believe they will. I just have that level of belief in Kevin Durant as an offensive force. This brother's 6'11" with a 7'6" wingspan, and he's a marksman. What you gonna do about it? I mean, at the end of the day, just shooting the ball, he's gonna average minimum 25 in this league. That's just KD. We all know how nasty Kyrie is. And so now you take into account the other pieces that you see with the Nets, the Allens, the LeVerts, the Dinwiddies of the world and stuff like that. You can never just put a wall and make sure you don't go in the paint and stop KD. You pull up. You saw that one on the bum calf that became the Achilles in Game 5 of the NBA Finals last year. Kyrie is nasty and unstoppable offensively. I think what you have to worry about is up here chemistry-wise. And I think ultimately what happens is that I think that when Kyrie and KD play together, I think they're boys, they get along. I think that Kyrie is somebody, I think that KD is somebody that Kyrie will listen to. And I think that because of those things, and Brooklyn, New York being the environment that it is, I think all those things lends itself rather towards us reaching a conclusion that when you look at the rest of the Eastern Conference, by virtue of default, I believe the Brooklyn Nets could easily, definitely top two, but could easily be the favorite to come out of the East next year.
Adrian Wojnarowski reporting Russell Westbrook on his way to Houston. The Thunder agreeing to trade the 8-time All-Star to the Rockets for Chris Paul, 2 first-round picks and 2 first-round pick swaps.
Yes, so I've heard the news. Russell Westbrook is going to Houston. He's teaming up with James Harden yet again. We've been talking about the Los Angeles Lakers. We've been talking about the Los Angeles Clippers. How about the Houston Rockets now? Russell Westbrook, clearly a more athletic point guard who's unstoppable one-on-one, who can get to the hole at will, who's bigger than CP3 and more formidable offensively than CP3, teaming up with his man James Harden, who clearly had enough for CP3 and vice versa. What does this mean for the Houston Rockets? Where are they in the championship picture? Is it time to sit up there and throw them back into the mix? Is it time to sit up there and say, hey, the Clippers, the Lakers, hold on a second. The title ain't exactly yours all of a sudden.
NBA offseason moves, Kawhi Leonard decided to take his talents to Los Angeles. He signed a 3-year, $103 million contract with the Clippers, a deal which allows him to opt out after the second year and lines up with the remaining time on Paul George's contract.
Well, stunned to say the least. The Paul George part is what's stunning.
Right now, I think the Clippers are the best team.
Well, I think it was a power move of epic proportions.
Kawhi doesn't trust a lot of people, but I think he sits in that steakhouse with Jerry West, and he's not the coolest and he's not the hippest, but I think Kawhi Leonard trusts him. And Jerry keeps it quiet.
And if you're the Clippers, you've got the richest owner in the sport. Your right-hand man is arguably the greatest executive in the history of the sport. And you have a Hall of Fame caliber coach in Doc Rivers. You got all of that at your disposal. And still, you're the fair-weather stepchild compared to the Los Angeles Lakers because all the stars came to them instead of you. Obviously, the Clippers could not allow that. So that's why not only was Kawhi Leonard able to facilitate his arrival in LA, but he did so by ensuring that Paul George arrived with him, and the Clippers were willing to surrender what amounts to 5 first-round picks and 2 players. Unbelievable move on Kawhi Leonard. Unbelievable power play.
Here in Los Angeles, they are getting primed for the Clippers and the Lakers. Here in Los Angeles, they are getting primed for the Clippers and the Lakers. It's gonna be a great season. We're gonna work hard every night. And let's get it going.
The intensity for a season.
Kawhi Leonard, 20 points a step.
Kawhi Leonard heating up in Staples Center.
cannot emphasize enough how disappointed I was in LeBron James for several reasons. Number one, give him credit first. He stepped up defensively. LeBron James was great defensively last night. He made a lot of great plays. He really, really did. And I give him credit for that. Offensively, he was atrocious. I don't give a damn what anybody says. 18 points, doesn't matter. He went at Kawhi Leonard early. When Kawhi got hot and hit 7 straight, you could have put an APB out for LeBron. We couldn't find him. All he seemed content on doing outside of the breakaway dunk, okay? All he seemed content on doing was passing the ball to Anthony Davis. No aggression, no anything. No, Vogel, whatever play system he's got in play, it was non-existent. So I was concerned about that. And I'll let you dissect the game, Max, but I want to point this out. I was so disappointed because you got to remember coming into the game, we saw this New Balance commercial from Kawhi Leonard. And he's talking about, you know, this is Kawhi town now. This is my town, okay? Unapologetic about it. Hasn't had much to say, but that spoke volumes. You got LeBron, hype, intense. Everybody's, I'm courtside now. We're watching him as intense as ever, as if this were the finals. Get ready to play, screaming into the camera, let's go, let's go, let's go. And then the next thing you know, you can't find him. While this brother, Kawhi Leonard, is balling out. Clearly the best player on the court last night. LeBron James wasn't even a top 5 player on the court last night. Not last night. It was that bad. And then they'll go to the post-game conference and to say, quote, ain't a rivalry. You know, both of us where we want to be, we got things to work out, et cetera, et cetera. What the hell you mean?
It ain't a rivalry.
What do you mean it ain't a
Play
rivalry?
the same position in the same
play
building?
the same position in the same building, in the same city. Both of you are title contenders, and suddenly you want to back away. We got the entire basketball world looking forward to this challenge, and this dude's going like this. I ain't no really match, man. Oh, really? Really? Well, I got news for you, LeBron. It is. Every time we see Kawhi in that building, we gonna turn around and look at you and go, what you gonna do? That's what we gonna do, okay, all year long. And last night, one superstar showed up, the other didn't.
Kyrie Irving looking inside to the foul line with a pull-up, and it rolls in for Kyrie Irving with points as a Brooklyn Nets.
Compete and perform in front of these Nets fans?
It felt incredible. Even when I missed my last shot, you saw my teammates run all the way down from the bench like, we got you. And no better feeling than that, having your brothers come and pick you up. And I'm just looking forward to growing with them moving forward.
At the age of 20, who has the best game, who is the best ever in the NBA? It is Luka Doncic. He's almost giving you a 30-point triple-double. For a winning team, they're winning a lot in the Western Conference for a team that's winning like twice as much as they're losing. He's almost giving you a triple-double with 30 points. He's 20 years old. Now look, he's not a great shooter yet, but he ain't scared to shoot. And he can shoot it well enough, better than Magic, for example, at the same age, or LeBron from outside at the same age. Luka Doncic, what you're seeing right now, you must understand. This is better than we've ever seen a player play at that age.
I don't feel that way. I feel, and here's the reason why, guys. Max Kellerman, you have to play defense too.
People are excited to see the Lakers, and the Mavericks are excited about their Mavericks team. They think this is a playoff team this year.
We are underway in Dallas. LeBron dribbling right. Hook pass. Anthony Davis, slam dunk. What a way to start the game. Who's down the middle? Back to Caruso. Three-pointer by Caruso. Good. That's what the Lakers have been looking for.
Gets separation when necessary. Gets the switch to LeBron. Just that pull-back dribble to get it back to where he wants it. So Jamal Mosley and he work often on this one-on-one.
Back come the Lakers the other way. Bradley. Alley-oop, AD!
slam dunk.
What a pass.
Perfect pass by Avery Bradley to Anthony Davis. Gives it to LeBron, one-on-one against Dorian Finney-Smith, back to Danny Green for three. Green's got it, and there's your fast start, Michael. LeBron thinks about a three. Now he takes a three. It's good. The Lakers come out with back-to-back threes, and Rick Carlisle says timeout.
JaVale McGee has his head turned, a little eye contact between Porzingis and Luka, and you can see the frustration. And it's a shot.
No good, but JaVale McGee caught it out of the air. Got Porzingis in the popcorn machine and dunks on his head.
James had it by a wide margin, but the hard dribble at is what makes him. So on the catch, he lifts with a little up fake, gets him crossed over.
The third. Ball stolen. LeBron on a breakaway. LeBron bounce pass. Avery Bradley to the rim. Tie game. 58 all. LeBron ahead to Avery Bradley. Bradley down the middle. Throws it up and in. And the Lakers have the lead for the first time since it was 2-0. To shoot. James will try it again. He's got it. Caruso! Going down to Caruso!
Doncic is going to hurt you, so Dwight's just trying to corral him.
Doncic dribbling top of the key. Doncic beats AD to the rim, kicks in the corner. Finney-Smith for three, and he hit it. 6.4 to go. Lakers trail by 3. It's into Avery Bradley. Bradley goes left side. LeBron going to the rim. Throws it in the corner. Here's the three by Green. It's good! Danny Green has tied the game at the buzzer. We're going overtime. Here come the Lakers back the other way. Tie game. LeBron bounce pass. Davis slam dunk for AD. LeBron dribbles one-on-one against Luka. Gets around him. Got to the rim. Foul and a bucket. LeBron got both Porzingis and Luka to lean into him. Danny Green with it on the left wing. Give it to AD. One-on-one against Maxi Kleber. Turn. Run. What a shot! An 8-foot runner. LeBron dribbling with Luka Doncic on it. Three-pointer by LeBron. It's good! Knockout punch by LeBron James. 115-108. Game over. Lakers win it.
Who's the MVP right now?
The
Is it King James or Giannis?
The MVP is LeBron James, who has been nothing short of sensational, as I had predicted before the season. He is flat out balling right now, averaging better than 25 points, leading the league with 11 assists per game. The Lakers are 5th in offensive efficiency, and LeBron James is playing the point, which means he has every single thing to do with that. And no player over the age of 30, let alone 35, has ever done this in NBA history. They've got the top defense in the league. They've got the best record in basketball, even though it's not by much, because Milwaukee and the Clippers and other teams are quality. There's no denying Boston. There's no denying that. But when you see what LeBron has done, like I said, if you take into account the fact that he was off in April for the first time, etc., okay, and he's had an entire offseason to work on his body, to take care of himself. He pays over $1.5 million on his body every year to keep it in tip-top condition. You just see it. And oh, by the way, Max Kellerman, ain't no low man.